Jacob here from That Time We Woke Up in a Podcast and Had to Explain Manga, our heated adventures overanalyzing manga we find interesting, aka the Over Manga Cast. This week we return to Spy X Family by Tatsuya Endo, with special guest and friend of the cast, Jump Kodie. We read chapters 36-57, all the way to the end of the Great Cruise Adventure arc. Great to have you back, Kodie, and to everyone else, enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam and welcome back once again to the Over Manga Cast, where this time we are once again joined by our special guest, our now good friend of the pod. I believe 3 is the magic number for this one. It's Jump Kodie!
You just like took it right out of my head. I was like, oh, do I get to be a fan of the show, like a friend of the show? This is it. This is the moment. Guys, how's it going?
Doing well. How you been, man?
Good. I guess is this my moment to say hi to everyone? Yeah, I'm Jump Kodie, and I'm doing great. Having a great spring of my life here. I actually turned 31 on Sunday, so.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thanks. Feeling nice and older, but at the same time feeling eager to like be fresh and new and try new things, and not letting this be the reason I'm like getting older, but be the reason like I'm getting better. So
it's a whole new decade to work with.
Always the goal.
Yeah, I had to like kind of mentally shift that whole like crap, you're getting older to like you're gonna be your best year yet. Watch out, world. 31's the year, right? To be here, I am I have a new title. I'm a digital marketing specialist, Viz Media. I work in Shonen Jump.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's my new title. I got that actually. Like that starts technically on was that Wednesday? Was the first? Yeah, Wednesday. Oh, Thursday. So anyway, or Friday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. Anyway, the first is coming up.
It has happened by the time you are hearing this, dear listeners.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So you know, by the time you hear this, I'm a digital marketing specialist at Viz Media. I was formerly the project manager, but was hired into a cool role, like an interesting role, and the realm between marketing and editorial is this like gray blur. Not to get too much into how the donuts are made, but right, like we have these great editors and people that work on like serializing our amazing manga, and then there's like this marketing team behind it that's like, what's our hottest series, what's our coolest thing, what promotions can we do, how can we get people involved and keep reading, right? So I was like in between both of those teams, and now I'm like officially on one team or the other. So it was kind of nice. They like finally like kind of 2 years at Viz now this coming week as well. So it'll be like a really cool way like to start fresh in the new fiscal year there. And yeah, it's gonna be great. And it's just really cool because I've been working with a marketing team, but now I'm like officially a role on the marketing team. So so hopefully the fun things like the if you're doing the Jujutsu Kaisen poll that ends probably before you listen to this, if you got to see that tweet and stuff like that, that was kind of my doing. So that's kind of cool stuff I do. And the newsletters you guys get from Viz, those I work on those as well, so create some of those. So it's kind of like overall what I do, but I also work on like creative ads and other cool things and podcasts and other fun stuff. So thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me have my 2 seconds of birthday spiel. But yeah, happy to be here.
We're happy to have you again. And as always, here at the top of the show, we like to talk about our familiarity with the franchise. But this is another in a series of episodes on Spy X Family. And I don't know about the rest of you all, but my experience hasn't changed too much. I have been trying to keep myself fairly fresh for the various episodes we do on this series, and also for the anime, which I'm still eagerly awaiting watching the anime, which comes out in just a few days. Kodie, what is your experience with Spy X Family?
This is that moment that I was actually dreading talking about, because I literally was like thinking about it last night on how I knew I was going to be on the episode, right? And I was like, how do I freshen up this like eager beaver approach to my podcasting? Because if you've listened to the Shonen Jump podcast, I usually am always over the top about every series that we talk about, or very excited to talk about the series, some more than others. And yes, I do work for this company and I love it, and I will never slander it. And I think any mangaka that gets to this level is very, very talented in a lot of ways, and some series make it and some series don't, and there's reasons, and there's behind the scenes a little bit with the editor-in-chief and Shueisha, right? And there's popularity and all these things that go into it, right? There's like all this stuff that goes into it. There, if you read Bakuman, you will know like, wow, this actually is a really hard business to get into, and if you make the cut in Shonen Jump, you're doing it. If you make a series that only lasts 15 chapters, you're doing it. If you make a series that lasts 1,049 or whatever One Piece is on right now, you're doing it. So
a lot.
I will never, ever, ever slander a series. But on the reverse, how do I tell you that Spy Family is like 1,000 times way cooler than almost every other series? And I love Sakamoto Days, and you guys had me on, and I freaking love that series. But Spy Family is just I love this series. So I was like literally dreading talking about this because I was just like, I want to make it known that I love this series, but I need to make it more known I love this series. I love Sakamoto Days, but I love this series. So I hope that like got the point across.
You're not supposed to have a favorite child, but
you and it's Spy Family.
Nine Dragon Ball Parade. Nine Dragon Ball Parade was my favorite child. Hunter Guild Red Hood was another favorite of mine. But no, I really enjoy this. The creation of 3 amazing characters, kind of 4 if you include Bond, and their whole dynamic is so fascinating, and you are on the edge of your seat every chapter thinking someone's cover is going to get blown, someone's going to move in the right different direction that you like need them to move in, and all these different things, right? So that it's just so many neat little bits and nuances that this series brings all at the same time, including some like cool high class spy action, some cool assassin action, and mind readerness, and that's really a really cool technical term there, mind readerness, but telepathic powers, right? Like all these things like are just like woven so beautifully into a rom-com action story that I'm excited for every chapter, and it's great because you love Lloyd, and you love what he's up to, and you love like his challenges with being a spy, not blowing his cover, and he has like male fatales that are kind of after him, but he's actually like married to this other lady who he doesn't even know what she's up to. And then you go to her, and she's like kicking, say ass?
You can say ass.
Ass. She's kicking ass, and she's awesome. And I love when people are like, oh, I want to see more of Yor. She's just out there like, yeah, dude, she's throwing knives through people and stuff, dude. She's deadly. So, and then you up Anya, who is like comic relief, but at the same time just as like serious in spy mode, and always like doing up to no good, but up to the betterment of her mom and dad that she adores.
For world peace.
For world peace, yes. So,
and the glory of Anya.
Glory of Anya. Yeah. I like that. I think that's gonna be the hashtag here, Glory of Anya, going forward. So
yes.
Yeah, love it. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer.
We'll get it trending for the anime. Matt, Jay, Jake, I gave my spiel, and so did Kodie. And have you guys had any significant changes in your experience with Spy Family, or?
Sure, I'll jump in here. No major change. I have found it very difficult to stay off their Instagram pages. Gotta love the memes.
Indeed. Fantastic memes. Anya is a meme machine.
And I love her for it. No change for me, despite my best efforts. It's tough for me to keep up with stuff. I'm gonna try to be better. And the nice thing is, at least it seems from the chapter count, like whenever we'd be doing the next episode, that our cutoff point for the next Spy X Family episode hasn't been released yet. So that's going to kind of give me incentive to try to catch up to where it is right now. And I'm also obviously very much looking forward to seeing the anime.
Hell yeah. And you, Matt?
I keep meaning to read more Spy Family, but I keep getting wrenched into manga about Rakugo. So I'll figure out what it is eventually.
We start off the segment of reading that we were doing with more of the adventures of Anya, as she is continuing to try to help with Operation Styx, as she calls it. Well, she's kind of given up on the actual plan A of the mission because she's just not that very good at school, or quite a few things. But hey, she tries her best.
There's the combination of Anya doesn't seem to have a whole lot of patience, and also she might be the age she claimed she was, but she's also probably not. So she is at a bit of an inherent disadvantage. She's basically, I am not going to be an Imperial scholar, so I will just have to befriend Scion Boy directly.
Half the battle there, knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Indeed.
Yep.
She is trying to identify one of those strengths. Still in process.
She's working on it.
I'm just trying to figure out why no one calls me Scion Boy, because I drive a Scion, so.
I can call you Scion Boy if you want.
No, Scion days for me are quickly ending, so. 31 comes the age of not being able to.
Well, at that point, you're Scion Man.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Call me Scion Man.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Scion company has like a Logan's Run scenario.
That's way more interesting. Let's go with that.
Sure, whatever you need, whatever you need to go to. Sorry, I didn't throw in my pop culture references to car references there. So continue.
But yeah, as is wont with this manga, no one understands what Anya is about, so they just go with what they assume. And in this case, it is our favorite bad influence, Becky, who believes that Anya's intense concern about young Damien is that she is infatuated with him. And she's
Obviously.
like, no.
Obviously.
In all fairness, not a bad guess considering she's just a little off base.
I mean, given their ages, I mean, is it really that far-fetched to assume, hey, she might be, catching some feelings from the cute rich boy? Or is her dad, her adoptive father, really an undercover agent trying to subvert the government?
Yeah, Becky being wrong is not anything to do with Becky, and everything to do with the wacky circumstances of the premise.
Yeah, those are so different extremes. Like childhood crush denying you, or like not working out or working out, whatever is like such like a high moment in your mind because you know what that's like, and like the other end. World War, catastrophe, saving the day, like stakes. They're totally two different stakes, apple and orange comparison, but yet you as a reader are like wanting it, because you sense that she has feelings.
And it feels, looking in the world, like those stakes are equal because,
Yes.
is the world going to be lit ablaze, or is one of the characters that you care about going to get hurt?
Yeah, feelings hurt or feelings of rejoicement or whatever. But you long for both of these answers to be resolved, which just is back to my like love of this series because you instantly sucked in. So kudos to Endo Sensei there for like creating that, both of those stakes being equally as important, or both. You want to see both resolves, right? So.
Yeah,
it's a very difficult tightrope to walk, making both the grand and the personal stakes feel equally important in the eyes of the viewer. And yet we managed to simultaneously have a heartwarming vacation between the foragers and also a bomb threat on a cruise ship. So,
Yep.
That's Spy X Family for you. But currently, bad influence Becky is taking Anya on a shopping trip to.
Very high-end department store that apparently they rented out. Well, Becky rented out for the entire day because that's how she does.
Is your dad the Prince of Darkness, Becky? He
Yes.
is, isn't he?
I love Becky.
And then we have the Anya fashion show, which I think is just the mangaka's excuse to draw a collection of cute and or wacky outfits.
She's so cute.
I mean, totally.
I want to hug her so bad.
Man, I hope I have a daughter that looks this cute and beautiful that everyone could just be like, oh, you should be a model and you should just be on the cover of Shonen Jump or whatever it may be. Shonen Jump, yes. Back to your I'm going to comment real quick because I think there's a point that I want to make because this might just be the only chance to do it. the fact that the mangaka takes time to do like the special chapters of just art really wins me over. They do it in Kaiju number 8 as well, and a few other series for across the board. And obviously, if you actually pick up the physical graphic novel, right, they include like art clips and things like that in pieces, right? So renderings and whatnot. But just you're right. Yes, the mangaka did take the time to draw Anya in like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different. Well, I keep counting styles here, but like I just like that. That reminds me that yes, like I think 36.1 chapter, like the chapter 36.1 is purely just color art, and I just love it. And I love that the mangaka takes time to at least provide that for us because.
It's just a picture of Yor looking cute, and I love it.
There's also the one in the bed of roses, and I'm used to Yor looking cute. I'm not used to Lore looking like a.
Well, Jacob, we need to introduce you to Instagram because there's an entire profile dedicated to this.
I was very pleased about this different presentation of Yor. Don't get me wrong. It just I'm not used to it.
Yours like that. Like, yours is a lady that can literally be like the soccer mom, but then also kind of like Elastigirl in the Incredibles.
Incredibles, yeah.
Incredibles, yeah.
Like total mom, but also like femme fatale, sexy. It's like there's a blur there, and you just don't know. You don't know which version you're gonna get.
Yeah, I think that's cool. One who can do both.
It depends entirely on her mood.
And this is why Yor is best girl.
Yeah, which weirdly translates back to our little dress-up montage, because then we get one of Becky, and my favorite one she does is where she's like, or I could just wear what his wife wears, because she's dressed up like Yor.
Yeah, that's another element to Becky that I'm kind of like not sure if I'm comfortable with. She blatantly tells Anya, I'm gonna steal your dad. I'm gonna be your stepmom.
Well, every time Becky is doing her shenanigans, my thought is always, Becky, how old do you think you are? Because I don't think you're quite in the place to be doing this.
I think it really goes to her head where they say young lady.
Well,
yeah, yes. Probably.
Honestly, what has happened to Becky is she watches like dramas with her mom or other older family member, and is just like, ooh, juicy drama, and has thought that's how life works, which is why her like maid is like just fed up with it. It's just like
that actually explains her cutscene, because she starts sniding like other children, which in a weird way I can kind of relate to. Like when you hang around adults most of your life, children by comparison seem really immature.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, as an only child, I've dealt with that too, where I've had more adult friends than I've had my age friends.
As I've established, everyone who's an only child is weird and doesn't know how to be socialized. No, I'm gonna die on this hill.
Excuse you.
I know I'm outnumbered. I'll die on this hill.
What? You're like outnumbered by what? Like 4?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I had siblings. I know how to deal with this situation.
Well, Matt was fighting for scraps of food while he was a child. We civilized people were sitting at the table learning how to pass the plate, you know. So.
Oh, look at you. You had a guaranteed spot at the table. I learned to be hungry.
Though to be fair, I do kind of fall exactly into Matt's view of only children, so I can't really help the rest of the squad there. I am weird.
Jake, we'll work on you. We'll get it figured out. I do have to say though, because this is something that'll go on the internet. I do have 2 wonderful sisters. They just came into my life like 4 or 5 years down the road of my life. So I have 2 great sisters, but I definitely have some fond memories of being an only child, and I transitioned, I think, about as well as I can, because I love both of my sisters dearly, and I think we're all great friends. But I had that moment of life where the Legos were only my Legos, and man, that was awesome. And that was awesome. So, but getting my ass kicked by my sisters at Mortal Kombat and Super Smash Bros. Growing up was not awesome. Not awesome. All right. But
just saying, it's Mortal Kombat. I love it.
My parents introduced us to that game when I was way too young, but I don't care. It was great. I was screaming, "Get over here!" at like 7 years old. Perfect.
Speaking of bad influences, Becky and Anya finish their little shopping trip in a very wholesome way.
They get little keychain.
It's adorable.
I want to know what store they bought those keychains at, because we find out how much one of them costs from Twilight at the end of the chapter, and it's something like $745.
Mm-hmm.
I have some ideas. I don't know if it's a 1-for-1, but definitely those old-timey, well, not old-timey, they're still around, but like huge department stores where like they had propriety, like brands and stuff, mascots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the Shonen Jump store.
Yes, the Shonen Jump store. How'd you know?
You go to shonenjumpstore.com where you can get. No, sorry. Let me tell back here. Sorry about that. Sorry.
We'll put it in the mid-roll ad. Our little interstitial chapter fashion trip is over as we go into the mixing of the Imperial Scholars. All the various Imperial Scholars throughout the history of Eden Academy get together for a social event. And this is a very powerful opportunity for the Master Spy Twilight, as all sorts of VIPs will be here, including dun dun dun, the big boss himself, Donovan Desmond.
He looks perpetually terrified. I don't know why.
He really looks like at any point like his dog just got shot. Like that's
I know.
expression.
You don't understand. That dog could have been a Western spy. I can never know.
Yeah, he doesn't just look like he found out that his dog was shot. He always looks like he just shot his dog.
I thought he looked like the one meme about the milkshakes.
Drink your milkshake.
It's some meme where it's like there's little kids like
My milkshake
Google
brings all
memes.
the boys to the yard.
It's literally
right.
based off of that song. Yes, damn right. Yeah.
It's better than yours.
Oof.
But yeah,
Don't teach me.
I would have to charge, so good, I won't.
Hourly?
Meanwhile, poor Damien is
Continuing to
wants
be
to-
neglected.
Yeah, he wants to take this opportunity to speak with his father, and he's able to. I don't think he doesn't get his father on the phone. He gets the butler, but he asks them to pass along that he wants to see his father, and he comes really close to being like, forget about it. He's probably not even going to show up. And then we get
A dramatic Anya. My favorite part about this particular panel is it's like as Damien's doing his dejected walk away, Anya like slides into view, but Becky is just standing there, which implies that Becky walked up to like talk to Damien, and then Anya ran off to the side and then ran back.
just so she could do the dramatic slide. That sounds like something she'd do.
Yeah. Anya basically taunts and or has a heartfelt moment with Damien into convincing him to go and speak with his father.
And then kind of transitions into like a weird breaking down because she starts insulting herself and then crying near the end. He's feeling a lot of emotions.
Yeah, it's a very strange scene, but it ends up working out in the favor of Operation Strix.
Because Twilight bugged Anya's little sheep charm that she had gotten from the previous chapter. So he knows that, or where Donovan Desmond will be.
Yes. And he also had a replica of it made so he can come up with an excuse to be on scene in the moment, because Twilight is always prepared.
And we finally get the in-person introduction of Donovan Desmond.
This scene messed with my emotions just in terms of how confused I was, because, you know, we have all these expectations. It's been 38 chapters of what will happen when Twilight meets Donovan. And then we have like a few pages of, you know, Lloyd trying to break the ice, like apologizing for when Anya punched Damien in the face. And the entire time, Donovan is just staring at him, wide-eyed.
I don't know if he's staring. That's just how he looks.
Yeah, I was very weirded out, taken away from this scene, but I don't think, like, I don't know. They set up Donovan to be like this dark figure so much, and then we get to this scene, and I'm like, wait, hold on, what's going on with this guy? Something seems off, not in like a menacing way.
Yeah, because, well, it's like he's being so dramatic, and Lloyd is thinking, okay, I have to, like, analyze everything about him. And then he just immediately breaks out into a smile like, oh, it's fine. Kids will be kids.
So tense.
The way Twilight reads that is, this guy knows I'm trying to get close to him. He probably thinks I'm just, trying to like ride some coattails, up the political ladder or something. Lloyd is like, hey, I'd like to like come to your house and like apologize with like a gift or something. And that's where we get the, nah, it's fine, big smile. And it's like, if I press too hard, this guy is going to know that something is off.
Mm. It's just the thing that keeps throwing me, and I'm pretty sure throwing Twilight as well, is Donovan's expression, like, and his entire demeanor changes from like page to page between kind of easygoing and then incredibly menacing and spouting wild stuff like, in the end, people will never be truly sympathetic with each other.
Or
it's like,
my milkshakes.
Or my milkshakes.
Dude, Donovan's just thinking about his milkshakes, and he's just like, did I let those boys in my yard? Wait, no!
Did they get my milkshakes?
I'm sorry, I just can't unsee it. I just can't.
Those milkshakes are the best milkshakes in all of Estonia.
I can't unsee it anymore either.
Yeah, the way I read him is that in large part the reason why he's so hard to approach is because so many people have tried. So the closest I think we've seen to a real expression from him, like he's intentionally exaggerating his facial features to make himself hard to read. And I think the closest we get to him, like actually like kind of opening up, is at the end of the scene after Twilight leaves. Damien is able to drum up the courage to, basically do the normal thing of a son telling his father how he's doing in school. It's like, I did really well on the midterms and I got a stellar star, but I also kind of bombed the most recent exam. And he's scared to like just, interact with his father because his father is so cold and distant. And we get a look from him that is, it's still a little bit extreme, but it's the least extreme facial expression we get from him. Is that so? Good for you.
That most basic of like reaching out to his son heavily affects Damien to the point of it causing an entire chapter's A plot.
Yeah, the thing I found really interesting about it is the last thing he says to Damien is continue striving not to besmirch the Desmond name. That says so much to me about his character, because that is the highest compliment that Donovan can give his son, because he's saying that you have successfully not besmirched the Desmond name. That's not an adequate amount of affirmation for a son as dutiful as Damien. And yet it feels genuine because, like the wacky expressions, the mask is gone for that. And it really shows that, like, who he is underneath the mask is like, he's in some ways a similar, like almost a dark reflection of Twilight, in that he's living the spy game too. Like, he might be a public official and a well-known name, but like he still like is in that world, and he's, closed himself off from everything else. And this like minor compliment is literally the best thing he can do.
I mean, I guess my takeaway from this scene is I didn't really get that Donovan was like, I got that he was weird and I got that he was closed off. I'm just like, he and Twilight have a conversation that eventually amounts to, hey, what do you do to be a good dad? I don't know, you just gotta try? Yeah, I guess I should try more. And then he actively takes that advice and uses it in that scene. So like the scene as a whole is kind of weird, just to be like, yes, this is the main villain who's trying to be a better father despite the fact he's busy. Huh. Cool.
There's a wholesomeness to that, which is very on brand for Spy X Family, on top of all of the, the rest of the analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Wholesome goodness.
man, just my takeaway. Real villain of this scene was Twilight. Just seeing like how Damien worked up so much courage to even get this meeting to happen, and Twilight's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna talk mostly through this meeting.
I mean, let's not forget that Damien prefaced with the fact that he was like, yeah, never mind, I don't really want to do it anymore.
Which Twilight was privy to that moment. Sure, it wasn't said to him. He was hiding around a corner and
he was being a creep, but he overheard it.
He's a spy. 90% of what he does is creeping.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually a really good example of like the interplay of the dramatic, like world-altering stakes. You know, what Twilight is setting out to do is prevent a world war, which, strictly speaking, on like a pure trolley problem level, is more important than Damien getting the emotional affirmation of getting to talk to his dad. But we've also, you know, seen a lot of Damien and that he is a good person who absolutely deserves the affirmation of his father. So, you know, there's the stress of Twilight getting in the way of that, you know, manages to... I
mean, hey, we don't need any more anime villains.
You're right. We do need more anime villains.
Yeah.
Damien isn't... Okay, I agree with you. But I would say also that you have to remember that Damien's kind of a jerk to Anya and thinks of himself as an elitist, which is also in his own sense, he is a villain. But you get into, obviously, in chapter 39 here, like you do get into like realizing Damien is just trying hard and trying to like just impress his dad. So you see that with the dad Lloyd conversation too, that like, okay, like these people are humans and they do have a human side, which goes back to that element of the stakes, right? And the World War stakes that like, and if a nation's warring, and obviously we have some relevancy, at least with our Russian-Ukrainian conflict going on here, that like there are humans on both sides of this, right? There are people that are living in these terms. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't, like, Damien didn't win me over as like, I feel a little sorry for him, but I'm also like, stop being a jerk to Anya all the time, dude. Cause like, Anya's
there's also a point, like we should also factor in the fact that Damien is a jerk and looks down on Anya mostly because probably of how he was brought up either by his father or, you know, his nannies.
That's not a Damien problem. That's basically everyone who goes to Eden Academy problem. They think they're better than everyone because they've had to prove that they're better than everyone by the Academy standards. They're
a whole bunch of blue-blooded little brats. Yeah,
like
there we go. Blue-blooded brats. Put that on the button.
Well, I mean, like there is the element of, you know, Becky does sometimes look down on Anya. Like she's more like. She
totally does.
And, you know, it's like she's, you know, more inclined to like, you know, boost herself up and then, you know, try to, you know, boost Anya up. But like, that is sort of my take with Damien is that like when we see him and it's unfiltered, he's a really good person. And then the upbringing happens, and then, you know, him being a child happens, and he is a jerk to Anya, you know, because, I mean, Damien, you know, started the conflict between the two of them, but at the same time, Anya has transgressed as well. She did punch him in the face, and they're kids, so...
And kids are cruel, Jack.
I'm pretty lenient when it comes to, you know, Damien doing stuff, because, you know, that's the way he was raised, and he's a kid, so...
Also, Anya deserves it at least 20% of the time because Anya's also
we also need to establish first and foremost, I think Anya, as cute as a button as she is, there would be times that she'd be giving me headaches.
Oh yeah, I absolutely adore Anya so much. But there's a big factor in my love of Anya is the fact that she is on the other side of a manga page. Anya in person would be a lot less endearing. That's true for a lot of characters.
Also, jury's still out on whether Donovan's not a lizard person.
Yeah, we're still not sure about that one. But we do have the chapter showing a bit more of the human side of Damien and his flunkies.
Yeah, he really needs to ditch the flunkies. He's a lot more human that way.
His flunkies are pretty good friends. The entire point of this chapter.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're better than Crab and Boyle for sure.
Oh yeah, hard to do worse, honestly.
That's what I thought of right instantly when I met these three. This is like, oh, this is Malfoy and Crab and Boyle. Boyle. Am I right? Boyle. Oh, I haven't read Harry Potter in a minute. Too much manga to read. Right. So I'm glad I pulled that one out of my hat. So that's what I instantly thought of those, because they're just the two dimwit like brute heads that somehow got into this academy. But yeah, you see that they actually are like friendly, and they're
decently good friends.
Yeah. They're just like average boys, little teasy and pranky, but nothing out of like just purely trying to be fun and have a good time, and live life.
Yeah, there's definitely a level of coattail riding, but what that chapter really establishes is that in spite of that, they do genuinely like Damien for Damien and would be his friend anyway.
Mm-hmm. And we learn this as they go on a camping trip with Scoutmaster, the captain from Fire Force Company 1.
Yes.
I mean, basically, but he smiles more.
Yeah. It's another shenanigans chapter. Shenanigans ensue as the boys go adventuring. There are many beautiful shots of nature, including my favorite of the Stella Lake, which is just a nice big flat lake that gets a beautiful reflection of the night sky. Other than, humanizing our antagonists a little bit, that's the long and short of that chapter.
Yeah, it's basically just fun camping adventures on their off day.
A nice bit of slice of life for the Slice of Life series that
this is half of the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the time. There's gonna be parts where it's a little bit less slice of life, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of slice of life, we get the last slice of Bond's life in the next one.
Or at least he thinks so.
Almost, yeah.
No crimes against Floof.
Bond
Bond
has a vision of darkness.
Bond hungry, and Anya not paying attention. She tired.
Like, Anya could just be playing hide and seek with me, or maybe I'm being given a surprise and I had to close my eyes. Oh no, yours cooking lunch. Oh no.
Oh no.
You know it's bad when the dog is dreading food.
Yeah. I gotta get Lloyd home so he can make the dinner for me and so I can live. What do I do?
Oh, the humanity.
And he runs about town, sniffing out Lloyd, who is breaking into a pharmaceutical company.
Lloyd is amazing in this scene as Bond finds him doing reconnaissance, and he's just like, "No, you're gonna blow my cover, dog." And then Lloyd, in what is either weirdly specific connect the dots, or the biggest leap in logic I think I've ever read, is just like, wait, no, I see, this pharmaceutical company is tangentially related to the company that did animal research on you. You must want to get revenge. And Bond's just like, dude, I am a dog.
I mean, doesn't it turn out that he is partially correct, that he was experimented on? And we do know that Bond was, even Twilight's handler mentioned that Bond was part of an experiment and that he has above average intelligence for a dog.
Yes, but Bond doesn't care about
it's what I'm
Bond
trying to say is it's not
revenge.
A far stretch for Twilight to be like, oh, this is an unusually intelligent dog. He probably put together this together.
Yeah. It is a leap in logic. It's a funny leap in logic that is motivated by the wackiness of the story, but it is absolutely a leap in logic, and he's also wrong because Bond is like, dude, I'm just a dog.
Pole vaulting right over that chasm.
Bond is able to help Twilight with the mission, which is really cool because Big Fluky Cloud Dog is also an amazing spy.
Had to put a burglar mask on the dog.
Bond is indeed an above average intelligent dog because he was experimented on or something.
I love how they like. Does Twilight just have a balaclava for a dog? Because there's holes for the ears.
Don't ask questions.
What if Twilight needs to disguise himself as a criminal dog?
Never know.
I buy it.
I mean, you have to take a step back to make just to like cement Jay's point, right? The very first like part of the chapter, it says that he has the power of precognition. So, so he does have.
He sees the future.
Yeah, he is a genetically altered dog with powers. Like I said, I already said earlier, he is like the fourth main character of this series. I mean, it makes sense. And I personally, page 19, 18, 19 here. I mean, Shinobi-Lloyd's cool. The whole like mask up, neon. I don't know. He just looks like he looks like he'd be hanging out with Kakashi Sensei. I just love it.
I know, it's great.
This is a great chapter.
Look, Lloyd looks good in anything.
That's a fact.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we just did. Do I assume you have a little bit of a crush there? Did we get that point knocked out there? Should I call that out? It's kind of like we made with Yor.
No.
Okay, all right. I felt that vibe there. Like that's a fact. I was like, oh okay, all right. We all have something for somebody. I just wanted to make sure.
I mean, I can't get in the way of like Becky and I forget the name of that other spy, but
I'm willing to fight a child or Midnight.
Midnight.
yeah, Midnight.
Midnight, the tennis player. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
scared.
God,
I don't want spies on me.
Yeah. I didn't wish the evil on you. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry. I was
Actually, you would also fight Yor. Yeah, that's a problem.
I was gonna say I wouldn't want to get in between Lloyd and Yor. Well, at least not in a combative sense. But
God, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Every episode. I apologize. Sam is a degenerate.
Look, I saw the opportunity and I took it.
it's a little degenerate, but it's also very opportunistic. It's slice that pie a couple different ways. So, but hey, I got to stay out of it. I'm just a friend of the show.
Anyway, psychic dog save day, truth serum get, tasty meal for Bond is get, no die by your cooking. Hooray.
The dog words there really, I just had to like put all the sentence structure together there in my head and make sure I understood what you were talking about. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. The dog saved the day. It was great. It was awesome. Yeah. I'm with you.
Oh, just ignore Sam when he does that. The rest of us do.
Oh, why I put up with you.
Sam, if you want to start a podcast, man, I'm here, man. We could.
I'm gonna go start my own podcast.
The Degenerate podcast.
Yes.
Oh, it's already exists.
DGencast.
I mean, we could have our own trash podcast. It'd be great.
This isn't the trash one. Where's
the trash manga friends?
Trash pandas of manga. I don't know. Just come up with something.
Next week, the pilot for our new offshoot podcast.
We have a fun little half chapter with Twilight and Handler going about their spy business.
So did Handler have a name before this chapter? Because this chapter establishes she's Sylvia.
Oh no, we knew she was Sylvia.
Okay.
I think this is the first time we've learned her last name.
Yeah. It's mentioned in passing the first time we see her, but like this is the second time it's been used, so
age scratched out.
This chapter is basically just, hey, did you remember Lloyd's a spy, but from the point of view of the Handler?
Yep. All right, so report your progress on Operation Strix. My daughter can now jump over 2 vaulting boxes and jump rope 5 times in a row. You have got to be kidding me.
Lloyd is going full domestic.
Yeah, that shows up a little bit too in the cruise.
Oh, poor Lloyd. I feel bad for the man during the entire cruise arc. He is at the whim of Anya.
We'll get there.
He is at the whim of Anya, and that is a capricious god.
Hey, what did we say? For the glory of Anya, right? Like,
For the glory of Anya.
Glory of Anya.
Yeah, see, we should be drinking every time you say that.
Wait, you are?
Wait, I have to get a new drink.
I'm drinking coffee. It's a Tuesday. I wasn't 31 now. I start it. It is over 5 o'clock. I guess I could crack a beer, but damn.
Just always assume if I'm recording a podcast, I'm drinking.
Oh, is that how they get so good? I should drink every time I record. Damn it. I missed the memo.
I think that is how podcasts work.
That's how Matt puts up with the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
All right, I'll charge your glasses for the glory of Anya. I got it.
For the glory of Anya. But yes, now we have a Yuri chapter, which had me a little
Yuri.
What?
Not that Yuri.
Oh, that's... I had to double
That's for the other podcast, Sam.
Right. You're right. You're right.
I'm going to have to put a hard stop down. You guys have proposed at least 4 separate podcasts now.
The one where Jay and I review Smut will come out later.
Yeah, that's on the list.
Look, Otome Thoughts is coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now, the character in Spy X Family Yuri is investigating a not journalist, but
a dissident.
Big air quotes around that journalist. His work is a rather nauseating shade of yellow.
Ew.
Yeah, yellow journalism.
That's not what immediately popped into my head, and I apologize.
I mean, it is supposed to kind of evoke that.
We see him getting one of his stories, and he's like walking around the city trying to find something to photograph.
Snap a picture of so he can sensationalize it. And
the thing opens up with us being informed that in the West, these like op-eds of what life is really like in the Eastern country is like, and they're like all propaganda, and like this kind of tilted this entire thing for me in a certain way. I'm like, wait, hold on, I thought the East, so like, because it's from Yuri's point of view, it's like a whole like, hey, no, this is the enemy side, but they're actually not that bad.
This is from Yuri's point of view. The thing that this guy does is he can't find anything bad today, so he, fakes something. That doesn't necessarily mean because we also saw like the orphanage where Anya was procured from is not a particularly great place, and in all honesty, probably where it actually lies is it's not as bad as what this guy is like painting it to be, but it's also not as rosy and perfect as Yuri thinks it is, because as established, Yuri has a bit of a particular perception about the world.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever country yours in is the best country. It's not that hard.
It's not complex. It's not a complex view. It's just an interesting one. But we get shown that this guy is very loose in his morals when it comes to getting stories. He steals a toy from some children and throws it in a dumpster so he can take a picture of them rifling through the dumpster for the thing, with the plan of turning it into a headline about hungry street urchins scrounging the garbage. And it's very unpleasant.
Not only catch that, but also
track him down.
How he's delivering the photographs to the propaganda engine outside of Estonia, I think is the country.
That's the thing, though. It's not outside of Estonia. The propaganda engine is being done inside of Estonia. It's just being shipped, which we got to the end, and that's when I got confused, because I'm like, hold on, wait. So this is an Eastern propaganda operation that's faking
yes, he's
news
trying to
give to
subvert. He's trying to subvert his state, and they're trying to prevent, the propaganda from spreading within the state.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where this plot line kind of lost me, was I'm like, okay, so I get what they're doing. They're doing like morally gray, both sides are kind of doing things. But then at the end, it's like, by the way, the propaganda network was done by radical extremists in the East. And I'm like, oh, so this isn't about the West doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. That's really not what this is about, but that was just a small takeaway for me.
The point is that our antagonist, journalist, angsts for a bit, and Yuri catches it over the bug, and he's like, I'm not entirely heartless. I'll get this guy's family some financial assistance while he rots in dissident prison.
Because he's taking care of his ailing father. But
yeah, because there's a moment of like clarity of like he's taking care of family. He's doing this for his family. I'm doing this for family.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a human moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of course, no one could ever love their family as much as Yuri loves Yor, but...
Oh, heck no. It's not healthy.
Yeah, I was going to say, one could argue maybe people shouldn't love their family as much as Yuri loves Yor.
No, I know we're done with creating new podcasts, but I really think there needs to be a podcast about Shonen Jump characters loving their sisters way too much.
Oh my gosh, there's too many.
Too many. It happens like all the time.
There is unfortunately enough material for that.
Oh, you could come up with a really good pun. Hold on. Oh, Cis Confidential?
Oh god.
I hate it, and therefore I love it.
Yes!
I'm cringing here. I'm cringing. I don't know.
I have no interest in being a part of that, so that's free for anyone.
I can't even jump on that. I can't even be a guest, I don't think.
Have fun with that one, Internet. That one's for free.
Yeah. All the good ideas get thrown out for free. You know what? I know. This chapter was neat because again, it's another chapter where you take one of the characters you're not a big fan of, and you flip it on its head, and you're like, oh, okay, like he's not that bad of a guy, and two sides to every story, which is really good, very true in any situation in life. However, I have to take it like 16 steps back and realize like this is that moment where, and I might have missed it. And maybe I should go back and listen to the episodes that cover the chapters up until this point. And maybe go reread the whole freaking series. What time period are we in?
So I think we've had this conversation before. It's like weirdly 50s, like 60s era Cold War, except when it's not.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm like, okay, typewriter, old school radio listening headset, Fox TV. I'm looking for every clue, and then I'm like, I haven't seen a cell phone,
Is it Cold War? Is it during, or is it? Well, this is also Cold War related, but like
it's
Berlin
a fake
Wall.
Country, so
that's kind of.
Well, yeah, no, it's based off of
Berlin.
East and West Germany. Yeah, because it's totally. Berlin. It's based off of East and West Germany.
Totally, 150%.
It's Cold War era with the serial numbers filed off, so they'll throw in some anachronisms here and there for the sake of expediency, which pretty standard thing to do.
Berlin just invokes the image of chocolate, and it makes me hungry.
Do you need to step away and get another drink and chocolate? Is that what we're...
I wish.
Jay's a simple person. She enjoys her drinks and chocolate.
Yeah. That's actually relevant for the next chapter because it is about the pastries of knowledge.
Oh man, yes. I'm great at segues. It's like I set that one up all on my own. I'm not here to give actual in-depth analysis. I'm just here to help you guys segue and transition each other. So.
I was unprepared for the roller coaster ride that was this chapter because it starts off with like the storybook opening of like, long ago there was a legend in Eden Academy of the great patisserie who can make amazing treats called the pastries of knowledge. They say that if you eat one, you will become an imperial scholar. Imperial scholar. I forgot the name.
Good recovery. Side note. I need on page 2 and 3. I need that deck of cards.
Yes, the deck of cards with the.
I don't know what an M42 of diamonds is, but I'm all for it. Like whatever. Oh, it's because it's mission 42. Ha 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 ha! I just have to see what you did there. Put it in the card. Oh, brilliant. Sorry, I missed
Genius.
That moment.
But yes, Joker Anya, as she is wont to be.
Yes. He is the Queen of Hearts there. Yeah, it's cool. I'm all for it. It's great. It's a cool deck of cards. Okay, anyway, continue.
Yes. So Anya and Becky are hanging out at lunch, and there's a test coming up that is going to basically divide the kids' performance levels. And Becky, in just the act of explaining this, of how, like, you know, the kids who exceed standards will be in one class, meet standards in another. And then Anya's like, so I'm going to be all by myself? I didn't say that, but...
Well, no, I mean,
yes.
Becky's response is, you could be, because Becky is a perpetual bad influence, and I love her.
Yes.
Yeah, there's also the element of rumor has it that we'll be separated. So I could very much see Anya stressing over this for the next multiple arcs, and then find out that it all amounts to nothing. But
the fabled pastries of knowledge are available in the cafeteria, and so our characters all sprint to get some, and. It's Anya and Becky, it's Damien and his goons, and then George Glooman gets the last of them.
My boy George. You didn't think he was coming back, but here he is.
But here he is.
Out of nowhere, it's Glooman with the macaroons. And they, of course, because we have to have the plot continue to happen, everyone else badgers him into giving up most of them because he didn't give back a bunch of the things that he was given in that.
Well, yeah,
what we thought was a throwaway chapter.
He still owed them. There is continuity.
Again, I did not expect continuity out of that chapter.
Oh, did you expect this to turn into a Yu-Gi-Oh parody then?
I did not expect that either.
It was great. I love the expressions.
They play Old Maid to decide, because there's 6 of them and 5 macaroons, so odd one out is whoever loses Old Maid. And Anya psychics her way into winning easily, and they're all like, you cheated, and she's like, crap, no, you're right. I can't defend this.
Well, no, here's the thing. They can't prove that she cheated, but she reads Damien's mind of him thinking it's like she's a mind reader or something, and that causes her to panic and not want to give away her secret, so she says, all right, we'll do another round.
Yeah. She has to set up to, like, get them off their trail. She's not doing a great job.
So she intentionally takes the Joker at one point, thinking that she'll just get rid of it later and win afterward, and no one will accuse her of cheating. But unfortunately, whilst her psychic powers can help her get rid of all of her cards relatively easily, she's not got a particularly good poker face.
Her expression gives away everything, and it comes down to a fight between her and Damien.
Fight's an interesting word, because
a challenge of hearts, in a sense.
And then George off to the side, wow, Damien, you suck too.
But they are the last ones standing. Anya with 2 cards, Damien with 1. Theoretically, 50-50 shot that Damien would pull the Joker and lose the round. But of course, Anya has no poker face. And when it looks like he's about to win, she starts crying. Oh, poor thing.
Poor baby.
And Damien's heart can't take it, so he throws.
Again, proving that he is a human person.
He's got a case of the Doki Dokis.
He does. Bring back the Doki Dokis.
And then Anya, which, I mean, one of the things that I've really liked about Spy X Family is that to a large extent, Anya is written like an actual child. Like she has a lot of like really like childish and immature moments. And in a show of real maturity, like, you know, showing that Anya has grown, she offers half of the her macaroon to Damien, and Damien also is written like a child because he does not take that well and storms off.
He goes full tsundere.
Yep.
Promptly devolving into some maidenless behavior, but Anya temporarily goes Super Saiyan, and then flubs on places.
Shockingly, the macaroons of not. Yeah, actually, to be fair, Anya is telepathic. The idea of magic pastries is not completely outside of the scope of the series, but also,
I was ready to believe it.
It's kind of obvious where the joke of this story is going. But another thing that I like that is another case of showing some cool character growth from Anya. Lloyd's looking over her test, and he realizes that she made a bunch of spelling mistakes, and like spelling is one of the things that she struggles most with. But other than that, she actually did pretty well on the test, and she would have gotten an impressive score had it not been for that.
So yeah, but this scene was also interesting because Lloyd's weirded out by this because they haven't studied foreign language that much. So how does she know foreign language?
Or classical languages, even.
Oh, that's right, because
Yes.
it's essentially Latin, but they don't say Latin for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, kind of hints at potential backstory for Anya, which I'm not sure about, but
They do it occasionally, though, because they've done it in previous chapters. They're like, hey, you remember how we never explained why Anya was in the orphanage? Here's a little...
Or why she's psychic.
Here's a nugget. Also, here's a dog. We're going to only pay attention to the dog now.
This nugget doesn't answer any questions. Actually, it raises more. Well, yeah, the nuggets of lore about Anya that they don't proceed to tell you anything about. It's just here, have dog. Hello, bark.
Worf. Yeah, no, the dog distracts me. I will freely admit that.
Not peer beyond the dog.
It's hard, boy. Bond is very large.
Yep.
And very floofy, and I love him.
Yes,
Obviously, he's the fourth character of the series.
Indeed. But Kodie, I believe you wanted to say something about the childhood innocence angle concerning Anya and Doge.
Yeah, no. The innocence of our dear Anya. All glory to her. She is obviously you love her because it gives you that like childhood innocence. It's the Calvin and Hobbes effect with her and Bond, right? Like that's exactly what I think of. And then you get distracted with all those things that like behind the scenes that she could be or part of, and we joke about the cat ears thing, and is it a headband or is it cat ears? Is it an antenna that she uses to read people's minds? I don't know, but like that innocence translates really well because you see it like in this language test. You're like, didn't she have figured out by now that she could probably read the headmaster's mind or the teacher's mind and literally have all the right answers spelled word for word if she could read people's minds? And she did get that looks like she got a 41 on this grade here, if I can read that page correctly. So maybe that was enough of her talent and ability to get to that point, right? She says Operation Styx and spells it wrong in her head, right? The Scion boy thing with Desmond, right? Like there's just so much of like childhood pronunciation, childhood ignorance is bliss to each situation that you totally forget exactly what like her backstory really could be, because you just at this point you just believe that she's the daughter of these two characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's that role so well.
I forget about the orphanage all the time.
I totally do. I just think like, oh, this is just literally a spy family. This is literally a family, and like, and again, kudos to the mangaka because it's just so brilliantly like put together. At the end, right? She's like, and Lloyd's like, I'm making your favorite. She's excited for dinner, right? I'm gonna try to make dessert. Unfortunately, Bond's scared to death of that. But still, like you're like, oh, this is a cute little like bow to the end of the chapter. It's just, again, like to me, it just reminds me of like a little Calvin and Hobbes story, that's like literally my favorite like Sunday comic strip is Calvin and Hobbes by
Yes. My brother.
And I went to school with the same. Well, he teaches. He still might be teaching there, but I went to school with the guy that did Garfield. So, he's like from my area that I went to college at. So like I have a tie to Garfield.
Cool.
But yeah, a little known fact about Muncie, Indiana. So like I'm obviously pro Garfield, but like just Calvin and Hobbes boils it out of the water in my mind, and I just love that childhood innocence, and this series does a great job of that. But right, back to your point though, is that there is this like total undercovering that we have to find with Anya someday, somehow down the line, and when that gets revealed, it's gonna be an epic revelation for sure.
I can't wait. But for now, we have to round out our little mini arc of secondary characters having their moments with more Frankie escapades.
Yes.
A sentence no one has ever said.
Our favorite uncle.
Man,
I thought Yuri was the favorite.
Yuri is the favorite uncle. Frankie, man, I really like Frankie when he shows up with Twilight. This chapter didn't do it for me though.
Yeah, it was a bit on the predictable side. There is the fun bit where like it starts out all serious and like Frankie name drops the garden, which ends up I don't know if that's already been name dropped, but we get into it more later. The garden is the organization Yor works for, and I literally just noticed as I'm like going between our notes and the manga on the Shonen Jump app, I just noticed you can actually see Yor's silhouette amongst the groups of silhouettes.
You totally can. There she is, being cool.
She's hiding behind one of the speech bubbles, but that's absolutely Yor. And then it proceeds to Lost Cat. Because Frankie wants to impress a barista, and shenanigans ensue.
Yep.
And those shenanigans are just like super high-tech inventions he's made. And Yor at one point goes like, "Hey, man, these are really cool. Why aren't you a millionaire from selling these inventions?" He's just like, "Because I'm stuck working for spies." I mean, I didn't say that part out loud, but...
What kind of dirt do we have on Frankie?
I don't know if there's any dirt on Frankie. I mean, obviously...
So then why would he have to be stuck working for spies?
I think he's being coerced. Like, he's definitely like a...
Yeah, there has to be something there.
He doesn't work for Wise, I don't think. He's a contact that's like...
Yeah.
I feel like he's like maybe he's just too like girl crazy. You'll see in later chapters to like...
Yeah, he's very easily distracted.
Yeah, because for me, he reminds me of I'm using the Incredibles reference here, but he's totally the Edna, right? Like, come get your cool gadgets and cool, don't wear capes, like, have something for the baby as well, So I feel like he could come up with he has that like short figure and the kind of like poofy hair look that Edna has and the glasses, right? He's just so such a one-track mind character that he's like, oh yeah, I can invent on the whim, that's no problem. But can I hang out with the barista girl? Can I get to know this other spy lady that you'll find out later? All these.
That's
other
the
things.
real question.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So his one-track mind, I think, is his own limitations that keeps him just as this underground. You have to remember too, in this time and age, he might be Tony Stark, but he's not This is if
Tony Stark.
I mean, if this, that's true. He's not Tony Stark, but if this is the, if we discuss the time period of this, being Cold War, post World War II, Berlin Wall type thing, he couldn't just become this filthy rich billionaire and just be like, yeah, this is great. I'm in this essentially this war-torn country and I'm a billionaire. There's too many things that would check out. I don't know. So I think he's just limited by his own desires.
I think he is actually from Estonia, because he specifically for plausible deniability reasons doesn't work for Wise, but he also might be from Westalis and just moved there or something. They haven't really gone that deeply into it, but
yeah. But my main takeaway from this chapter is it's a bunch of one-note cat and mouse jokes with weird technology punchlines, which I felt is kind of out of sync with what Spy Family's normal comedy beats is. And I really like Frankie as a character. I think I've defended him in one of these episodes. And I think he pairs so much better with Yor and not with that's.
Wait, you're shipping them now? No.
I think he pairs so much better with Twilight and Anya. And later we see him pair with Bond. And I don't know. I think the key takeaway for me liking him as a character is the person he's with has to not like him. Has to be slightly skeezed out, and he has to be on the defensive. Yours too nice. She's just
yeah, sure, I'll help.
She just yes-ands him, and I'm cool. What's the?
It's not great for his comedy beat, but Yor saves the day with the power of Yor, and we get a pair of the greatest panels in manga.
By the power of Yor.
We get a quick Junji Ito rendition of your. I'm with you, Cat. Kodie is the cat's name. I'm with you, Kodie. I that was my reaction too.
Did you pull the Junji Ito reference out just because I'm a Viz employee, or did you were just like you were on beat with that?
Well, we did Uzumaki a while ago, so yeah.
Totally. Okay, I don't know.
Ito is an art. Is art incarnate. I was a fan of the series for years. It just speaks to my soul.
Yes.
You learn something new about people that pod with every single time you pod with them. And, I'm scared about what Jay's saying or dreaming about over on her other side of the headphones, because it's just like, oh yeah, that speaks to you. Okay, all right. The horror.
I mean, we did an episode on Junji Ito.
You did. I'm not trying to knock you. I'm just like, I don't, horrors aren't my favorite. So I'm always the guy that likes rom-coms and adventures. And action. So.
I still think one of my favorite moments in that vein is in our first Jujutsu Kaisen episode, where Matt learned that Jay and I know more about corpses than he ever wants to.
Both, like, what do you mean you don't know about corpse oil? Like, we were huge, like, Egypt buffs. It's a thing.
I thought it was corpse wax.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could make from corpses.
Also that.
Why don't you people just know this? Like, what?
Anyway, yours completely normal face compared to this conversation leads us into the punchline of, I was personally expecting it to be the wrong cat, but the other of the two obvious ways this could end is that, of course, she already has a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Who appears to work at the restaurant with her is the real punchline, because I'm like, Frankie, come on, buddy. You go to this restaurant.
He's an intel guy.
He should have been able to pick that up. Yeah.
But he's blinded by the pretty lady.
I'm telling you, one-track mind here, guys. One-track mind. Just you gotta simplify all the things you're thinking of.
Intel. I could understand if he were like some kind of hermit who only builds machines, but
This entire thing is making dossiers on people.
He's still a hermit, though. He's working in this underground shop.
Look, he's an intel guy, but he's not a creeper. That you're never gonna get a girl like that.
I know. You gotta creep harder, man.
No.
The opposite
Everyone
of that.
listening, do not creep.
You're pleased with having helped save the day, and until she gets a call that the Thorn Princess has a new client. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
To the tone shift for the rest of the reading. Indeed.
And yes, this is about the halfway point of our reading, so we are going to take a quick break. We will be back in just a moment, folks.
Hello, dear listeners. Do you enjoy playing video games with your best friends? Then I have the pod for you. I'm Philip, host of the Gaming Together, a cooperative podcast. Each week, my co-host Nave and I break down a cooperative experience in gaming, and we are always looking for new co-op partners to join us. So come play with us on the Gaming Together podcast.
So I'm standing over this toilet taking a piss, and I'm playing my Pokemon, and I dropped it in the toilet. I remember the Game Boy just tumbling into water. And I remember screaming for my mom, trying to get this Game Boy.
Wait, how old were you?
And she yelled at me.
Oh my god.
Traumatized. I was like, no, my Pokemon.
That's Gaming Together, a cooperative podcast. Come on down, co-op partners.
We're on a boat.
Going fast. Oh god, Kodie fell overboard.
No! Kodie! Hi guys, we're back from the mid-roll break. Slight technical difficulties for our good friend Kodie, but he will make his return a little bit later on. For now, we have to get on a boat.
Wait, we're not doing a deep and thorough analysis of chapter 43.1.
Look, Jacob, I appreciate the "your" as much as everybody else on this podcast. But
Oh, all right, I'll get on the boat.
Hey, yours on the boat.
That is true. That is true.
Yours on the boat. Yours on the boat.
Yours on the boat in her cute form. So
yes. Well, Yora's not on the boat yet, because first she must go to the garden in order to get her mission statement from the shopkeeper.
Who does not look like a human. He's angular.
He's angular. He looks like a re-dead from Ocarina of Time. He's got that face shape. He's just got eyes. I mean, his hair is rad.
Oh, that is hair. I thought that was part of his hat.
He goes to give Yor the mission and almost stabs her with some pruning shears in order to make sure that the domestic life hasn't dulled her reflexes. But she has dodged the attack quite elegantly. And now her mission is not to kill people, at least not explicitly. It is, in fact, to protect someone from being killed. She is to protect the last surviving members of an underground crime family who have been slaughtered in an underworld coup. There's no real, gentle way to put that.
Yeah.
All of them except this lady and her child are dead.
The shopkeeper mentions that that family had run the underworld as ethically and honorably as one can run an underworld. And considering they are part of that underworld, there were ties associated with. So they're going to do whatever they can to get Widow Okla Gretcher.
Olka Gretcher and her son, Graham, out of the country safely. And we are introduced to the team for this. There is the director. I find it kind of funny that Yor has kind of the most literally flowery name of the various garden assassins that we know, because we have the shopkeeper, the director, and then the Thorn Princess.
Yeah, I in my mind I kept thinking of the shopkeeper as the gardener. And it took me a while because he even has that aesthetic to him too. It wasn't until I was writing it down in my notes that I wrote the shopkeeper that it solidified in my mind.
And yeah, they go to get on the ship. The way that they're getting this widowed crime family out of the country is by having her sneak out on a cruise liner, where she will then get into another boat and sail to a far distant land away from all this madness. And it is Yor's mission to keep her safe from the doubtless flocks of other hitmen that are coming after her head for the large bounty that was placed upon it.
Unfortunately, because she's going to be away for her family for, a couple of days while she is alone on the cruise ship without her family.
Yes. How terrible. How could we lose such a pivotal part of the family, of the spy family? Thankfully, once again, Anya is on the case.
I love how completely coincidentally there just happens to be a raffle to go on. How about it? The same cruise.
Anya uses her psychic powers to scam a scammer that was trying to rig the raffle and gets her and Lloyd a pair of tickets to go on the exact same cruise ship.
Fortunately, Lloyd was able to get the approved time off because, as we determined, his handler Sylvia has been a hard-on boss.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Lady.
Well, you said it, not me.
I'm not sorry.
But she says, consider this another part of your mission. You are to go have fun with your family. It'll help with your cover.
But also go have fun with your family, because she also, in the previous reading, does have a child who would be around Anya's age.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else in the office is like, by the way, Twilight, she got yelled at by human resources that she's pushing us too hard. So, this isn't a trap.
And
okay.
I'm just like, you guys are a military spy organization. What is your human resources doing?
Hey, if it works, it works. Actually, given what we learn, I wouldn't be shocked if Wise actually had information about the planned terrorist attack on the cruise ship, and she's like, I can definitely get Twilight on there. Should I tell him about it? Nah, he'll figure it out.
We don't see any evidence of that, but that does also seem like something Sylvia would do, so
That's so unlikely though, because the terrorist attack is thought of in the moment on the cruise ship. That wasn't pre-planned.
True.
Like
Our crew, our family, our spy family is now on the cruise ship, the Princess Lorelei, and we meet with the protectee, the mob widow, Okla.
early on here, we get something that will be a bit of a through line for the rest of Yor's character arc throughout this. She mentions in passing on the way to the ship that she might be thinking about retiring from being the Thorn Princess after this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she has a run-in with Yuri, who is being a functioning adult despite all outward appearances.
Despite all of his Yuri-ness.
I mean, say what you want about Yuri. We get a few like interstitial, like at the beginning and ending of chapter scenes that seems to imply that Yuri's been making it like more of a habit to visit Yor, like after his shift occasionally. So he's like doing the like brother-in-law thing of like, hey, I stopped by because I'm in the neighborhood. So like he's having a like casual interaction with the family. So
Yeah,
that's kind of cementing to Yor like I'm having this more like domestic life, and my brother doesn't need me to be a caregiver to him anymore.
So why am I still doing this dangerous work? And that will be a through line of her internal monologue throughout this arc, as she is constantly wondering just exactly what it is she is doing here. Though for now, it is protecting Okla, who's going by the pseudonym Shotty Gray.
which is just the second best pseudonym I have ever heard. Second only to what her mob bodyguard posing as her husband is using as his cover name.
Fur Seal Gray.
Yes, seriously.
Guys, this is a series where the main family's secret alias is Forger.
I know, but come on.
We missed my favorite part of the Desmond scene where he asks Lloyd's name, and I was waiting for it to flip the page going like, that's the stupidest last name I've ever heard.
for Desmond to just completely see through it.
You basically said your name is Joe Fake Name.
Yes, it is me, John Johnson, esteemed doer of thing at place.
I come from Wisconsin. I worked at a cider mill there.
Terrible pseudonyms aside, we are introduced to the protectees. There's another touching scene where Okla says that she wants to just get out of this crime business and live a quiet life. And we have a few calm moments with her and Yor getting to know each other, and meanwhile, Anya is being Anya with Lloyd. They're in the third class part of the ship because they won these tickets in a raffle.
This must be the ship's jail cells.
I think we've made a wrong turn, Papa. No, this is our room. Get back here. But despite the fact that things seem to be going smoothly for the mission at hand, we are quickly disavowed of that notion as it cuts to a man in an unknown location listening in on everything because he's put so many bugs in this ship that someone's gonna have to call pest control.
He's listening to every single feed at once because I mean we have Yor, Anya, and Twilight with their ridiculous abilities, but we're building up to some boss fights because this guy's shtick is that he can parse through all of the different
transmissions at once.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jacob, I just want you to know, if this arc has proven anything to me, it's that if you're an assassin in the Spy Family universe, you have superpowers, full stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Your body is immune to poison, and also she has perfect muscle control, and at one point in this, she dodges a bullet.
Superhuman strength and speed, yeah.
She gets punched by a man who is basically a gorilla in build and is fine. It is Yor's feats of strength go all the way through the roof.
I mean, this still isn't quite as impressive as drop kicking the car, but it's close.
But unfortunately, thanks to Surveillance Guy, the assassins have caught wind of the target's location. Mr. Director is able to very painfully murder a man to learn this information. The chaos begins as room service comes to deliver them the order of death.
But I didn't order any room service.
Did you order this machine gun?
There's like a bunch of horror panels.
Oh, there are so many horror panels.
One chapter and begin the next.
So, man, I kind of wish we'd read this arc before we'd read Gintama, because I remember back then we were like, man, I can't believe they show so much murder in Shonen Jump. And in all fairness, after we did the Gintama episode, Colton actually came back to me going like, hey, you know Death Note was in Shonen Jump, right? And I'm like, oh, right.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
We're dumb.
We forgot some very basic things, but yeah.
There's still an awful lot of murder going on.
The amount of murder in this arc is insane.
Yeah, because the murderous busboy goes to reload and continue attacking when he gets hit in the hand with a dart thrown by the director, which is all the distraction Yor needs to throw one of her ice spike knives through the door into this man's head and pin him to the wall. I'll ask you to refrain from using firearms when there's a baby present.
And then we get my favorite cutaway that happens all the time in this arc. Outside of the ship, splash. Because they are dumping all the bodies overboard.
Dumping them all in the ocean.
And the director keeps grumpily complaining, can you please leave less of a blood trail? I need to clean this up, you know.
Because if there is any like sign of ill goings, misgivings, basically police are going to get involved. They're going to turn the ship around, and the client cannot escape.
The client is not the only VIP here, and the SSS is all over the ship, which is giving Lloyd severe anxiety.
Yeah, I was going to say there are a couple of points where Lloyd is, I know I have no reason to be concerned about them right now, but I'm me and they're them, and this is not going to not give me conniptions.
I mean, I kind of do respect Lloyd because he goes on, I got to follow the handler's orders. This is a vacation. Man, there is a lot of SSS agents here. Well, they're definitely not looking for me. If they were looking for me, they probably couldn't find me. I'm going to try and relax because they're not my business. Oh, God, what's my daughter doing? No!
Anya, please.
Does she resent her papa?
Meanwhile, Anya's like, with my mind reading powers, I know all about the cool anime battle that's going on, but I can't let Papa know.
With my mind reading powers, I'm aware that 2 out of every 5 people on this ship is a trained assassin.
Basically. When the ship arrives in port, there's going to be a lot of confusion about why the population dropped by half, but
there explicitly is. Handler mentions it at the end of the arc. She's like, yeah, a whole lot of passengers went missing. All of them had fake passports. Curious that.
The SSS is doing their best to cover it up.
Oh my gosh. We get one of my favorite scenes, just because I always love this kind of scene of needing to move through a crowd while still doing violence. Like the one sequence in I think it was John Wick 2 when they were going through the train station, and I know that's not how silencers work, but they were shooting at each other through the crowd.
John Wick is a masterpiece. A cinematic and orchestral masterpiece.
In all fairness, that's how silencers work in the John Wick universe. By
the way, silencers aren't entirely silent.
We all know that. I'm just saying, in universe, they definitely
work that way. Yeah.
Yep. Except Yor isn't using a gun. She is throwing buttons ripped off of suit jackets and crushing people's hands.
Which begs the question: John Wick or Yor? John Wick.
Yor. John Wick doesn't have super strength.
He is motivated by puppies and his wife.
Not even really after the first movie.
And Yor's motivated by her daughter and her husband.
Wow.
And her puppy.
And dog. Yeah.
I'm never going to be quiet now.
See, here's the thing. I want
I
to
have
see
ideas.
I want to see Yor and John Wick team up. That's the real.
Yeah, I was going to say I was going to ship them, but then that would be weird.
Yeah. I don't want to break up the OTP.
We dovetail into my favorite fight of the manga. Spoilers for later. Anya and Lloyd are at a tacky gift shop. Anya is being a small child who wants thing, and Lloyd is like, it's a tacky toy. Wait a minute, I'm supposed to be being a good dad. Would a good dad buy it, capitulate and buy it for her, or would he not? And he's like really struggling over this. And Anya's like,
he had a soliloquy either at the beginning of this chapter, or the beginning of the chapter before, where he's like, people fear what they don't know. And what I don't know is the mind of Anya. And that's how the whole rest of it is framed, and it's amazing.
Look, Lloyd, I have audience omniscience into Anya's mind. I still don't understand it.
Say the same thing.
But anyway, Anya becomes privy to one of the assassins walking by, getting ready to go and do battle with Yor. And he is, all right, that's his name. Old Sickle and Chain Barnaby.
I will never remember that name.
Me neither. I guarantee you I will forget it later this episode. But he's got a Kasurigama as his weapon, and he is ready to go and murder the absolute hell out of Yor. And, well, Anya can't let that happen. She also can't let Lloyd see this battle. So
her method to get Lloyd out of the picture long enough is interesting.
Papa, you're supposed to be having fun on this vacation, but look how stingily you're dressed. A person who's having fun would be dressed in all this touristy stuff.
I will take all of these clothing items.
I need to go change into them. And then he uses his super spy powers to change immediately. Wait a minute, this looks ridiculous. I need to further optimize this. And Anya's like, okay, good. I have time.
The first of many times that Anya is just awesome in this section.
Yeah. I just love how Twilight analysis paralysis is himself at every opportunity.
Well, really, it's only when it has something to do with Anya.
Mm-hmm.
Look, my dude, you're a dad. It's okay. We love you for it. Just accept it.
Yes. But battle is joined with Barnaby and Yor, and this is the first hint that these assassins are nothing to screw with, because Yor had been sensing the bloodlust of the other ones, and that is how she was able to be so efficient in her protection. In this, she barely dodged the sickle coming for her head.
Both of them have a classic shonen battle standoff, because they're analyzing each other, and
they're killing intent.
He's impressed that Yor was able to protect herself and both of the VIP, and then her reaction is, I didn't even notice he was there until he swung.
Yep. But this is going to cause a scene. Yor is like, we can't cause a scene right now. We can't cause a commotion. And so Anya to the rescue. That was really cool. You go, circus lady. Yay. Is that Anya? Wait, she's acting like she doesn't recognize me. Oh, she doesn't recognize me.
That's right. I'm still wearing the masquerade ball mask.
Time to put on a show.
Oh my God.
And
My
Anya's like, oh, good. Mama bought it.
My favorite thing in this is Anya's little interstitial thoughts of what would happen if
Lloyd saw it. Yeah.
And he's just always, the words in her mental projection of him is always just like, you're an assassin. I no longer wish to be married to you, nor I have this daughter Anya. She will go live in the streets. No.
Gracious me, such violence. But we have a really flippin' cool fight as the chain and sickle are flashing all around, and Yor's needing to do all these cool acrobatic moves to dodge it. But she's hesitating. Something is holding her back. And but she's finally able to focus up, get all her killing intent going, and defeat Chain Man in a series of very scary panels.
They're really cool.
She's drawn like something out of The Grudge. It's horrifying, but I love it.
And she manages to
bind the guy up and
with his
Vulcan neck pinch him.
Yeah, with his own weapon, which causes him to like bow slightly, and Yor does too, and everyone applauds.
And then Yor takes him off screen, where I'm sure he was.
Nothing bad happened.
Yep. Definitely not killed off screen.
Yep.
Anya saving the day by maintaining Yor's cover with her comment about it being a performance. Mm-hmm. First of many times Anya will be amazing in this.
And then Twilight is finally done becoming a cool dad. He steps out. I'll take everything, please. Anya, so uncool. What a drag.
Look on poor Twilight's face.
I've never seen a man so devastated. What do you mean I'm uncool? But with that over, surely this is going to be smooth sailing from here. We'll just get into another room and nothing else will happen for the rest of the cruise. Unfortunately, this is where we meet Sniff Man who sniff real good.
He knows all perfumes by name. Yes, both of these very common fragrances. But the chance of them being together, two women wearing these exact fragrances with each other, no, they must be my prey. And I'm like,
he knows all perfumes.
Great job, Sam. You broke that.
Well, no, but the crazy thing is actually, I like one of them's the perfume that Okla is wearing. The other, I think it's the cologne that the
mob bodyguard is wearing. Yeah, because he mentions that there's someone else. I know there's another woman with them, and
she has no scent.
She's not wearing perfume. Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, he says it like she has no scent. Like Yor has somehow doesn't smell of anything to improve her assassin powers.
There are two ways to read this. One of them is she's low profile, so she's not wearing perfume, or he's magic and can smell people down to their body chemistry. Both are equally likely.
I was going to say, if this wasn't Spy X Family, I would say that he's saying she's not wearing perfume. But this is Spy X Family, so I'm not going to make any definitive statements.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe the one I can't smell. It's like, what do you mean you can't smell her?
Maybe?
Surely even if she's not wearing perfume, she should smell like a human.
A baby's not wearing perfume, but smells like a baby.
Indeed.
Yeah, babies have a distinctive smell, I'm told.
But we have a cute scene where they get to their next hideaway room. The kid is of course terrified because holy crap. And we have a nice moment from Mob Guard Man.
No name mob bodyguard who.
Oh no, he has a name. I just can't.
I think the only name we get for him is Furseal Gray, his fake name.
No, we do learn his real name at some point. Okla says it.
It's right here because she says, "You're just my husband's employee," and he's like, "No, you don't understand how I feel." And I'm like, "Wait, is he into her?" No, he remembers when their mob ran a charity and he was a starving orphan and they gave him a loaf of bread and he was like, "That bread was my best friend." And I'm like, "What, oh, buddy? No, that's not what."
Well, no, specifically, she gave him the loaf of bread.
Yeah, but like he was saying, it was in the context of that mob family's charity. That's why he's so loyal to the family.
Unfortunately, he is still rather cowardly, but in an endearing way.
Yeah, the thing I really like about him, because it's like a really subtle moment, it's literally one panel, but he notices that she, like she's trying to calm her baby down, and he notices that she's shaking and obviously utterly terrified. So he makes a fool of himself, and he basically voices everything that's going on in his head, which he kind of does for the rest of the time he's on page, but again, in an endearing way. And he does that to keep her from panicking. And it's a really cute moment. I appreciate it.
Indeed.
See, he's such a minor side character to the point where we're not sure what his real name is. And yet Spy X Family is so good at characters. He's a really wholesome, character in spite of how minor he is.
She definitely calls him by his name in that scene. I just, for the life of me, can't remember it.
Zeb, I found it.
Oh, okay.
Zeb, that was it.
Good. That's not a real name. That's why I couldn't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, he was a zebra this entire time.
That explains it all. Yeah, no, it's one of those ones where, like, to a large extent, it's a pretty stock backstory for a character, but it's really endearing and it's well done. But yeah, now that there's a bit of a lull in the fighting, one of the things that Yor realizes is that if she had been wounded badly enough that she couldn't explain where she got the injury from, she'd have to, like, how could she explain that to Lloyd and Anya, who, Yor thinks is just, normal Estonian citizens. She recalls a bit of a conversation that she had with Okla when they were getting to know each other, where Okla, being, a wife of a mob boss, immediately understood, why Yor had that family. And she's like, they're just your cover family, right? And Yor is contemplating what she's doing here.
But this has all been a bit too heavy, so we need some comedy. So we have a day with Anya and Lloyd. Anya wants to ditch Lloyd and go help Mama with her mission. And
so she keeps trying to do things that she thinks Lloyd would like, but is constantly finding them more fun than he is, so she gets wrapped up in them.
And he's just too efficient at everything. So he's tearing through the stuff, and Anya's just caught having fun.
My man Lloyd, while they go to the ship's library, just goes, I've read all the books in this library. And I'm like, what the hell, Lloyd?
Speed reading. What? He has to be efficient with reading when he's a spy.
Oh, I thought the implication was he was just like, I've already read every book in this library previously. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I think both of those interpretations are valid, because I was in the camp with Matt. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of absurd nonsense I expect from Twilight.
Yep. But we do have a rather sweet moment where Anya is very frustrated with herself for keep getting distracted by having fun with Papa.
I hate it when that happens.
I'm having too much wholesome family time with my father. I need to go help my mom without erasing suspicion. And Twilight's like, what? I don't understand.
Why is she mad? I thought she was having fun. Is it me? Does she hate me that much?
And Anya, every good lie has a kernel of truth in it. And Anya says, I mean, we've had all this fun and we're having dinner right now and it's really nice, but Mama's not here and I miss her. It's always more fun when both of you are here. And it's really sweet.
Lloyd smile, I'll say Lloyd instead of Twilight. Lloyd smiles the most dad smile he's done this entire time.
Yes.
Even the cold spy's heart is melted by
Anya's
sparkling eyes.
All right, happy fun time feelings over. Back to the chaos. They are getting ready to move the target off of the boat during the fireworks show.
Anya is getting back focused again. This will not last long, but don't worry, she'll do cool things again in a minute. Because she inevitably gets distracted by the fireworks. Anya says that she wants to see the fireworks to find Yor. Yeah.
And we do get another very blessed image of Anya riding on Lloyd's shoulders.
Man, I really love the scenes with the fireworks show because they have these two like diametrically opposed like scenes, and they like the way the panels are structured. It's the same geometry, like it's the same like shapes and everything, but one of them is you're fighting a bunch of assassins. And the other is a bunch of people watching fireworks, and you'll get like the fireworks shooting off as the same exact pattern as a blood splatter. Like
It's so cool. Yeah, it hits that wholesome beat as well. This is the most dynamic the action scenes of Spy X Family have gotten. It almost feels like a disservice to do a play-by-play because, hopefully you've already done the reading, but if you hadn't, you absolutely should. This is something to be experienced.
We can't do a play-by, it would be describing a mostly visual medium is the thing. Cool.
It's an extremely epic battle. Yor dodges bullets, takes massive hits. Yeah, we explained this earlier. We do have some good comedy beats where director is there. He's there to both assist in the combat and also to clean up all the blood.
This is where most of the side of the ship splash moments come from. And then eventually we get like a parade of, I am the next gimmick boss. And then the next panel is director cleaning their body up.
I am the next gimmick boss.
Yor kills so many people and does not care, and I love it. Like...
She's a machine. She's ripping people apart.
At one point in her like main battle against a guy who's like fighting 1v1, she worries for her life for a second, but it's not actually about her life. She's like, wait, if I die, who's going to pick up Lloyd's shirt from the dry cleaner?
She took a nasty blow to the head, and so she's disoriented. And so she's thinking about what needs to be done for like chores for the family. But she's like, wait a minute. No, I'm in a fight. Why am I getting in these fights anyway?
As another important element is that the perfume guy who his Tanjiro powers are as gimmicky as he gets. Otherwise, he just has a gun. He says, "Hey, look, we're all professionals here. If you back off, we'll give you a share of the hit on Okla."
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, while she's contemplating that, one of the more powerful of the assassins who had, survived her initial onslaught is able to give her a hard whack in the head. And I mean, one of the really great things is in the previous reading section, we had things like Yor kicking the car, and that like she has this like incredibly badass moment. But then it ends up getting undercut with a joke because, just because of the dynamic of like the way that, what the characters are doing to get in the way of the, the family being honest with each other and being whole. There are, there are the occasions where you kind of have to like throw Twilight a bone. But like there's a chapter that just ends with her like, standing up with resolve, and it like... She's just so cool.
Oh, man. Meanwhile, while all Yor's cool stuff has gone on, the fight actually goes a bit beyond the fireworks show, and we get the main subplot, which is Lloyd overhears the crew talking. There's a bomb?
Oh my god, JC, a bomb!
I think he lip reads, but regardless, he finds out about there being a bomb hidden in the bilge of the ship. And obviously Anya learns of this too, because Lloyd's immediate reaction is, I gotta go do Twilight things, but like Anya's here. How do I put her somewhere safe, but still be able to do things? And then Anya notices there's like a little daycare thing.
Anya saves the day as she is able to get away from Twilight so he can go do Twilight things. And she immediately boogies out of the daycare to go help Mama, like she's been trying to do all day.
The poor daycare lady.
Oh, the daycare lady's hilarious though, because I just want to cut to the end of Anya's bit because she gets caught again after helping find a bomb in because there's more than one bomb. Spoiler alert. She finds a bomb in a clock and then is going to run off to find another one when the daycare lady catches her and is just like, hey, little miss, where did you think you were going? You gave me a heart attack. And she's like, I really had to go to the bathroom real bad. And she's like, well, tell me next time. We're going to go back to the daycare. And she's just like, but there's another bomb. And the daycare lady's like, look, if you want to drop another bomb, we better go to the bathroom. And I'm like...
It is a great, hilarious ending to this. Twilight disguises himself as a sailor and, goes with an ex-Navy cover story so that he can disarm the bomb, because they don't know there's more than one yet. And he's able to disable it, but he realizes this single bomb going off wouldn't have really done anything. Like it would have, some compartments of the ship would have flooded, but it wouldn't have done any real damage. There has to be more. And that's when, the rest of Twilight's subplot and most of the rest of Anya's subplot is looking for the rest of the bombs.
Yep, and they find all but one of them, the bomb in the clock on the upper decks amongst all the people, because, spoiler alert, the guy that planted all the bombs was listening surveillance bug man, and he's a real piece of work, and he wanted to listen in through his bugs at the sound of all the people screaming as the ship exploded. He's a real nice guy.
Well, specifically because he wanted to reignite the war between East and West, because he made it look like the bombs were made
in the
West. So
and the other advantage it had, he had actually overheard some of the other assassins saying, that guy isn't worth the money we paid him. We'll just kill him and take his share after this is over. And like, even if that hadn't happened, this guy was basically like, okay, that's fine. I was planning on killing all of the assassins and the target by sinking the ship to get all of the money anyway.
But he's making his escape in a lifeboat. One of the guy, Sniff Man, who Yor beat the crap out of, and actually Yor didn't beat the crap out of him. He got shot.
Yeah, the director was able to hit him a few times.
But he manages to get into the lifeboat as well. It's like, so you were planning on blowing up the ship. Well, I guess we're having a cool standoff here in the boat now. And we're just going to have to decide which one of us is going to survive the trip back to shore. Why is the clock falling down on us? Kaboom!
Because Anya was able to, without giving away her telepathy, was, hey, someone wiped a booger off on that clock, mister. And the guy's like, I'm looking for a bomb. I don't really have time for this. Maybe she misinterpreted someone messing with the clock because they were planting a bomb. That's unlikely, but I better check. And then,
oh my god, there's a bomb in the clock.
Which Anya,
we don't have time. Yep. Okay, we need to disarm it. Twilight, there's no time. Rips clock off of stand, runs and throws it off the ship.
No, Twilight, that is time.
And I mean, like here's the other thing. That was the last of the awesome things that Anya did, but I do want to rewind a little bit because granted this is part of the really epic fight scene, so I won't linger on the combat as awesome as it was. Yor had been disarmed earlier in the fight, and she had been fighting hand to hand for a while. And because the last of the bad guys standing was a guy with a katana, she couldn't like close in to finish him off. And Anya finds one of her like needle things that had fallen onto a lower deck. And there is like an entire page of Anya winding up to throw it. The way it's framed, the last panel of the page before you turn has it like in midair. And I'm thinking, oh, Anya, you're so tiny. There's no way you have the upper body strength to be able to throw it that high. And then you turn the page and the actual punchline is that it's in a completely impossible to notice place. But it's like, she threw it that hard and was able to get it. Is she like still training with Yor? Like, that's so cool.
It's like, oh no, Yor will never find it unless two goons happen to bumble over it, goon it up.
And Anya, exactly as planned. And you know what, Anya? I'm giving you full marks for that because you were never on the top deck because it's not available to passengers. So you get full marks for that.
I believe it. And thankfully, this allows Yor to retrieve her weapon and finish fight in spectacular style.
And that is when we get to the bit with the last bomb and all of the stuff that we mentioned previously.
Mm-hmm. And the wrap up for this is just a whole bunch of cute family stuff, including a rather amusing chapter of Anya returning to school. Fibbing about her adventures.
Whoa. Don't just skim over that part.
Well, we get a whole chapter of just absolutely like amazingly wholesome.
Because they make the drop off. The client is able to escape safely, and then Yor is given a reward by the director that there's still 1 day left of the cruise. Go on the expedition with your family. And she's like, okay, but I can't wear a swimsuit because I've got a chest scar from all that fighting. And then eventually they're just like, hey, we're doing all these beach things. Let's go scuba diving. And then Twilight is weirdly into scuba diving. He's like, no, we need to go scuba diving. And she's like,
he notices how much Anya wants to.
Yeah, but like, even then, he's weirdly like, no, Yor, we all need to do it as a family. And Yor's is like, I can't wear a bathing suit. And then all of that, like, lead up is completely unnecessary. She's like, oh wait, no, scuba suits they're not like bikinis. They actually cover a lot. So it's like, oh, okay, cool.
One of my favorite moments,
Fantastic.
one of my favorite moments is actually in the scuba diving section where they're like looking at all of the like sea life beneath them, and there's Twilight in the corner stanced up with his arms crossed.
Oh, my favorite part is you're looking at all the poisonous tropical fist going, looks tasty. But yeah, essentially, Yor has way too much fun after not sleeping for 2 days. And falls asleep standing up against Twilight, and he's like, oh no, well, guess I'm carrying her because she's out. And then Anya's just like, I'm tired, I want to go to sleep too. And I'm like, Anya. And then Twilight begrudgingly carrying 2 people.
But it's still such a blessed image. Because
But
is adorable.
anyway, we find out that luckily this whole vacation happened when Anya had a week off of school, so that's convenient to find out now. That wasn't established at the beginning of this arc. And essentially, she goes off on this long tirade where she's like, yeah, I went on a cruise ship. Wasn't that cool? And literally no one's impressed. Like, yeah, no, we go on that all the time because we're rich, Anya. Oh, you were in 3rd class? Oh, that's really sad. You're bragging about that. She's like, but there was a bunch of
I fought a bunch of villains.
villains. That's really cool. And then keeps
Show where
lying.
they from.
And then she keeps lying more and more and more. And then she like,
Well, it's like that's the thing. It starts off as the truth, but when a combination of aren't impressed and don't believe her, she starts exaggerating.
and eventually like she gets like yelled at. I think it gets brought back home for some reason. That's not really the point though, because Yuri's over having dinner. And essentially it comes up that she brought up all these lies she told at school. And it's got one of my favorite panels because it's Twilight inside his head going like, well, obviously if you're going to tell a good lie, you've got to go by a kernel of truth and it's got to be believable. And it's like, and then in reality, he's like, lying's bad. And then Yuri going like, liars are scum and filth that need to be crushed and destroyed. And they are the antithesis of this. And he's just like, liars are bad. And then Yuri's just like, yeah, you're right. I think having a life, like it's better to be honest with people because that's really good. And really just living with life of a lie is not helpful to anyone. Drop a beat, turn the page. All 3 of them realize they're currently living a lie in this panel. Silence.
The looks on their faces are so great. And then there's Anya nodding to this. Being a liar seems pretty rough. I'm going to try to stop.
And I'm like, I love this story because this panel at the end is Spy Family. Like this panel.
Yeah,
That is the joke consistently. Everyone is lying to each other.
I literally saw that panel and I said, man, runs in the family.
It would just be so much more cohesive if they were just honest with each other. Seriously. They could both take turns watching Anya, keeping her out of trouble, where mommy and daddy come home after a tough job and take care of each other's wounds. And
that family would be much less cohesive if everyone was honest with each other because Yuri would try and arrest Twilight.
Well, yeah.
he would try, and it would be hilarious.
Yuri, I think Yuri can stay out of the loop. Yeah, that's the thing. I really want your Anya and Twilight to all be honest with each other, but that is also how the series ends. So I want it a lot, but I am also okay with waiting for it.
I'm pretty sure that Yuri, with his love of Yor, might literally just die of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be bad. As problematic as Yuri is, he is endearing in his own way, and Yor loves her brother, so.
Yep. And then, unfortunately, it wouldn't be half as funny. It would be much cooler, though. All right, and thus concludes our reading of Spy X Family for this week. Getting into discussion, I feel like I should start with our dear friend of the pod, Mr. Jump Kodie. Favorite character in this reading?
Oh man, Guys, that's so hard. It's so hard. That's such a hard discussion point. It's not like Goku Vegeta hard, but it's Vegeta wins by far. There's not even, that's so easy. But
yeah, this is harder than Goku Vegeta.
Yeah, it is. I was trying to like play on that a little bit. For me, I gotta go Lloyd. I gotta go Twilight. Because I enjoy the James Bond. I enjoy the action, the debonair, but I also enjoy the like a little bit of cluelessness and trying to be a dad. I think that that ties it all together. But Anya's up there. Anya is a close, like I said, the Calvin and Hobbes thing just really resonates with me as a fan favorite of mine. And yeah, but Lloyd brings it all home for me.
It's hard to say anybody else, really. Like, Lloyd didn't get a lot of action in this particular reading. It was primarily your stroke Anya focused. So, of course, Yor and Anya were at their absolute peak, but I had so much fun with Lloyd flubbing at being a dad.
Yes,
he's trying so hard, and he's not getting very far. But he's trying.
That's sometimes all you can do as a dad.
Indeed. Matt, how about you? Favorite character?
Oh, I gotta go with Lloyd for this reading. It's Yor's show. She's got a lot going on, especially in the whole cruise ship arc. Anya's real fun, but Lloyd actually not knowing what's going on for the first time in the manga is great. Like him just reacting and like, oh well, I've got to be on vacation. And just trying to be a cool dad. Some of the best comedy beats I've read in this. Like really just like Yor steals the show, but then Lloyd's on the side just looking around confused, and I'm like, hey, there, I see you there.
Yep. I would say that yeah, I would agree that like Yor has the best moments in this, but Lloyd is the most consistently just being very entertaining. How about you, Jay?
Very difficult question. Very, very difficult question indeed. I would have to say, depending on the context, would have to be either Anya or Yor. Yor for obvious reasons, she kicks ass, and Anya for just being an adorable little peanut.
Both very fair.
Very fair reasons. That's all you need. So, and now, Jacob, favorite character, hard mode. You can't say Bond.
but Worf.
But Worf. Honestly, even though I was I was probably at some point going to make the joke that Bond was my favorite character. I'm actually in the same camp with Jay that Yor and Anya did stand out to me more than Twilight did. Like I loved his stuff too, but those two were definitely my easy top two. But actually, my number one was absolutely Anya. Because the sheer amount of character development that she showed throughout it, especially on the ship, it's like Anya is absolutely hilarious. She had really, really cool moments, and like she had some really cool character developing moments of like the stuff that we mentioned with Anya being that very Calvin and Hobbes sort of well-written child character with all the natural flaws a child should have. But you also were one thing that I noticed was how much Anya is overtly growing in such a natural way, and it makes me love her so much.
Absolute fantastic character. 10 out of 10. Like all of them are.
Yeah.
Damn it, why is this manga so good at characters?
Didn't emphasize it enough at the beginning, did I?
You emphasized it quite a bit, and I feel like we can't overstate it. We had a fairly wide selection of fights, both serious and jokey. Favorite fight in this particular reading section? Kodie, how about you? What did you think was the best punch 'em up?
Definitely, Yor stole the show on the cruise ship. Every fight was, and I know that's an arc. I can't pinpoint, but like she handles business on so many levels in that arc. Fantastic. And
Yor on boat.
Yor on a boat means badass, and that's all I can say.
Yes,
so many different panels. I can't just name an exact one. I don't hope that doesn't sound like a cop-out answer. The whole arc was so cool.
That's fair given how big that arc was.
Oh,
Not in the sense of length, but in the sense of like how much good was in it.
It was just under attack the entire time, and she handles it every step of the way. And like the fact that Lloyd doesn't even get like really involved at all, like really brought that back. Like again, like Jay's point of Yor and Anya being the favorite, like the favorites of this section of reading is, you cannot understate that enough, because like you can't understate. You just gotta give it its full credit, because I relate to Lloyd a little bit more and like his character, and sure, it's fun and adventurous. Like mangaka does such a great job of making those two characters so badass in their own right, and gives everyone that equal credit. So I gotta stress that like Yor was the badass of this, especially the boat arc, the cruise ship arc.
Yes. I would say that my favorite of the various scraps, of course it involves Yor, but it was her versus I forget his actual name. He did have one, but Chain Whip Man.
Oh, did he have a name?
He had an actual name. Anya just didn't remember it properly because she read it out of his mind and then mispronounced it to her peers. But that one, that had my favorite kind of fighting, which is crazy acrobatics. And I find chain weapons always are cause for cool dynamic fight scenes. And it involved some good character growth, or it catalyzed some character growth in Yor, which is also very very necessary and important. So yeah, that's my pick. Let's go in reverse order. Jacob.
I'm absolutely with you on that one, Sam. The guy with the Kasurigama was 100% my favorite of the like individual fights that we got. You know, it's something that like it reaches its final conclusion in that big epic like katana fight at the very end, which is also absolutely freaking spectacular. But and it's like that is such a close second. But when I think about which one like I go back to, you're putting together in her own head why she's not on her A game. It's that sort of like element of like the mind games in a fight scene, but like she's playing them with herself. Her piecing together why she feels this way was what propelled her through a lot of her character development over the course of the rest of the section of fights.
Jay, favorite fight in this particular segment?
All of them.
Yeah. Yep. That's
all right.
A seconding for that answer, which is fair.
Well, there you go, Kodie.
I'm really glad that you agree with me on that one.
You have a second in this.
I was about to turn in my critic badge here, and you just straight up backed me up.
All right, and Matt.
The one where Anya threw a knife up onto the roof blind, a guy tripped on it and shot his friend in the back and then knocked himself unconscious, giving Anya a body count of 2.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. That was the one that made me, I screen capped that and sent it to my D&D group, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Anya isn't short because she's a child. She's short because she's a halfling, because her luck is extraordinary.
Yeah, that's that honestly, that's my third.
Something that's going to be like uncovered in a therapy session.
I murdered 2 people when I was 8.
Forget the guy that was the rich kid that was mean to me in school. Like,
yeah, people think Anya needs to go to therapy because of Damien, but she actually needs to go to therapy because she takes after Mama a little too much.
Oh my gosh. And let's see.
She's so badass in chapter 52, man. She's just hacking everybody up. The guy with the bullet holes. Oh, it's so good. Oh, so good. It's like reliving every second.
Yeah, no, the chapter where she just goes full like White Reaper style and murderizes an entire group of people. It's insane.
A small army.
Again, the Forgers are all just exalts. I say it every time we do this particular property, but it's true. And I don't think that this is a question that I need to ask anybody here. Would you continue reading?
Yes.
Chorus?
Heck yes.
Yes, absolutely.
What the heck? You guys didn't notice the really terrible moment in the chapter like 53? Like, come on, it sucked. Like, stop.
that ruined the whole thing forever.
The series is getting canceled. I just see it coming. No, of course not. Sorry. Please no sarcasm there. Sarcasm.
They're gonna come for you on Instagram.
Look. If Spy X Family were to get canceled, I feel like we'd have that bus jacking scene from Sakamoto days, and whilst I would not condone it, I would completely understand.
Oh man.
Yes. Yep. I second that. Second that statement exactly.
But
that
that brings us to the end of this episode. As always, Kodie, thanks for being on. Have the floor. Where can people find more from you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Jump Kodie on Twitter, where I much retweet a lot of Shonen Jump and give my own thoughts sometimes. And as we discussed, I'm working on something new soon, so you can follow me on. So hopefully next time I'm on, you guys can give me feedback on my new project I'm working on. So yeah, hope you guys yeah, thank you. So you can follow me there, and thanks for having me on as usual. This is always a fun time, and it really lets me get to podcast some more as my role at Viz has kind of changed, and I'm doing a lot more marketing work, and still getting to enjoy the chapters and just share with an audience the love of our series that we have at Viz and at Shonen Jump, because they're all so freaking amazing. Stressing this one importantly every single chance I can. So please read it. And yeah, just thanks for having me, guys, and love doing this stuff. So hopefully more and more I just call on your friend anytime. I would love to be on as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Once I bully everybody into reading more Yu-Gi-Oh, you're definitely going to be at the top of the list for guest spot.
Oh man, if only someone could take my place for Yu-Gi-Oh episodes.
Hey, no, I mean, you let me know what series you want to talk about. I'd be happy to do it. It's the OG that kind of got me into Shonen Jump back in the day. I mean, obviously Dragon Ball Z, right, was such a thing for us all.
Oh God, why?
I too am a child of the 90s. I'm right there with you.
Right, like there was nothing like Toonami introduced me to anime, and then literally grocery stores had Shonen Jump in the magazine racks, and I was like, oh, that's Goku, that's Yugi. Like, what are they doing on a magazine? And the next thing you know, I'm reading their comics, right? Like, so literally my Shonen Jump origin story right there, and a quick summary. So
and now here we all are.
Yeah, without those two characters, I would not be here. So I always give it that. Now, would Black Clover be the series that brought me back into Shonen Jump? Yes. Would Hearted Boiled Cop and Dolphin really open up my brain to like more than just the typical like beat 'em up, fight 'em up Shonen Jump manga? Heck yeah, right. And this is one of those series that did that as well. So I love Spy Family. I loved Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin. Right, I've expanded my brain, but obviously that's still the shonen world, and there's so much else out there. So I need to listen to your guys' podcasts and some other manga explaining podcasts. I'll give them some props. They cover a lot of great series and things. So much out there in the manga world that we barely skimmed the surface on. So just happy to be a part of a small section of it.
And we are absolutely happy to have you.
Thanks guys.
And you can find us on all of the social medias where we are at Over MangaCast, Facebook, Twitter. I'm pretty sure we're on Instagram as well.
Heck yes.
Jay's been talking a lot about the Spy X Family Instagram sphere this episode.
I only follow you guys on Twitter. I'm following you on other things. Hang on. I'm gonna find that, make that happen.
Excellent. Yes, feed the algorithm. And of course, you can like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can comment on individual episodes. And of course, we love getting reviews from you on your podcatcher of choice. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want us to read. And yeah.
And especially if you have any requests for series you'd like to read, reach out to us. We'd love to hear them. And, maybe once in a blue moon, we'll decide, hey, that's a really good idea. We're going to read that series. Sam, what series would that be?
Well, next week we are taking a look at Kakaishi, chapters 1 through 19. We'll catch you all next Thursday for that one. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Toodles.